Hello, I'm Paul Wilkinson and we're filming from Kathmandu, where I'm making a series of videos about ritual objects. And this very interesting thing is a Tibetan wood block that's designed for making dough offerings. So you can see all over it you've got, it looks like a sort of a deity here, and other designs all the way, the never-ending knot, the mandala, all sorts of very interesting symbolic designs all over the outside of this on every side, and that would be used to roll into sort of dough offerings. It's got some age and it's been obviously really worn, but a very interesting object, quite a beautiful object. So this is a very interesting object. It's used for making a mandala by the Tamang people, who are originally a Tibetan tribe who inhabit all over Nepal now. But a lot of their culture is very similar to the Tibetans. So most of the Tamang are Buddhist, but with overlays of Hinduism and animism. So a lot of the Tamang are still very shamanic. So this is the centre of a mandala, used in a funeral. So you rub corn flour into the designs here. You've got these deep grooves, and then you put it onto like an earth stupa and knock it out with a arm bone trumpet. Then the next layer you see is a larger circle, so that goes around the next, on the outer periphery, and then an even larger circle with vajras gets turned over and surrounds the whole thing, and a border with lotus petals again, and a gate, so for the 4 gates for the 4 sides. This is the centre section of a mandala which they use during funeral rites. I've seen this happen in a Tamang funeral when I was in Sindapajak a few years back, and we were travelling with a group of shaman and we came across this extensive ritual. I'd missed the first day of it when we started filming, but we stayed for another 2 days, and this they used as they rubbed corn flour into these grooves, and then they turned it over like that, and using an arm bone trumpet like that, and then they repeated that for the other side, and then the outer sides of the mandala were the next stage repeated. So you can see you've got a very intricate design, and this is then repeated out like sort of concentric circles, and so it's rubbed in. You occasionally find these in antique shops, but I've actually never seen a whole set of them. And for many years ago I've had pieces of these and always thought that it was incomplete. I didn't know what it was until I'd actually seen it in process. So they rub the corn flour in like that, which is fairly coarse, flip it over like that, and then so you can see here you've got the like the gate and the concentric circle. You've got the edge of the gates again. So with mandalas you typically have the center, which is represents a stupa in Buddhism, but it's also a symbol for the self. It's a symbol for the unified being. And then this is the paired opposites, also the 4 directions, and also the 4 elements, or the 5 elements when you include space in the center. And then the next layer, you can see this one's only carved on one side, but that has Vajra designs all the way around, like a thunderbolt, and then the lotus petals. And so again, they'd rub the corn flour into like that, and then flip it over, and that knocks out the design. And it's also onto a curve, so they do this onto a domed thing made of earth, and which they clean off with cow dung first, and then it's on the surrounding area, which they've also cleaned. And then the final edging, you can see you've got the complex designs here with the lotus petals. So again, this is repeated all the way around, so it makes a design that's about 3 foot square, maybe 3.5 foot square. And then on here, this is the larger gates, so the 4 directions on there. So it's a very, very interesting object, and it's part of where I saw it was the funeral rites. So this went on over a 3-day period with the Tamang, and the Tamang are like originally a Tibetan tribe, so it's very Tibetan. You have the mask dances with the big costumes with the long sleeves, and an array of monks or lay priests. They're all dressed up, and they're blowing trumpets, and they're reading from various Sanskrit scriptures or Tibetan scriptures, and then this was one part of it where they built this incredibly elaborate mandala, and there was a section of it where over the top of the dome, over the top of the mandala, came another dome, and a section with which was on a sort of table with lights on top, and then there was another section which went around it. So you had these 3 layers for the triple world as well. So this is really, really an extraordinary thing. Thank you for watching. Do let me know if there are other videos you'd like me to make. I'm making a whole series on ritual objects and on shamanic practices in Nepal. Do subscribe, and please share with your friends.